There's a word out there so offensive to hunters that I can barely even say it here. You might be one right now. I know I've been one before. I'll probably be one again. It's a horribly painful existence. The tragic, self-loathing bowhiker. But before you start crying and eating ice cream straight from the carton, I have 5 game changers that can help you break the bow hiking cycle. What's up guys, it's Eric from Late to the Game Outdoors, and let's talk about how to stop bow hiking and start bow hunting. See what I did there? It's clever, right? Listen, I've been on more than my share of bow hikes. I've had plenty of hunts where I spent days taking my bow for nature walks and never even saw a shootable animal. It would have been a massive step of improvement to blow a stalk or miss a buck. I wasn't even at that level. I was just a guy in camo walking around with a bow for what was apparently no good reason. Maybe you've been there. You might currently be there, and that's why you clicked this video. So let's dig into 5 things that I believe really helped make a difference in breaking my own bow hiking situation. Number 1, stay alert. This sounds obvious, right? But if you've been a bow hiker, you know how easy it is to get discouraged, so then you get distracted, and then you miss opportunities. I'll never forget this moment on my second ever archery elk hunt. It was like day 4 or 5, and I had been logging 7 to 10 miles a day chasing elk, from first light to last light. I had been into elk, I had been at full draw a couple times, I even missed a bull when I tried to thread an arrow through a tiny gap between 2 trees and failed. But by this point, I was over it. I was deep in bowhiker pit.
Oh, alright, enough, you broken record, okay. I've been down here 2 weeks, man, what do you want?
I was walking along, daydreaming about who knows what, and hardly paying attention to my surroundings. I had given up believing that an encounter could happen at any moment, and as I walked past the end of this little finger of pine trees, I was suddenly 15 yards away from a spike who was just feeding right out in this meadow. We stared at each other for a minute, and before I could get my head in the game and, knock an arrow and all the other steps involved in shooting this thing, he took off. The saddest thing about that whole encounter was that, based on where he was, if I had simply been paying attention as I hiked along, I would have absolutely seen him and been able to make a play on it. So, force yourself to be constantly ready for an opportunity to present itself because, as trite as I'm sure it sounds, it can happen at any given moment. Fight the urge to get frustrated and become complacent, and just keep your head in the game every second that you're out there. Number 2, prioritize opportunities over trophies. Listen, I'm not going to tell you how to hunt or whether or not you should chase your dream once-in-a-lifetime bull, but I will say that if you're a consistent bow hiker, it's possible you're in an area with lower animal densities.
I'm your density.
I would start digging into some numbers on success rates and animal populations, and maybe think about trying some of the higher probability areas in the vicinity of where you want to hunt. I'm not saying you should give up on your dream trophy if that's your thing, but if you're newer to hunting, or you're just having kind of a long streak of bad luck, the best thing you can do is get yourself as many opportunities or at-bats as you can. If you can put yourself in a spot where you'll get multiple stalks a day on legal animals, rather than just hope for one stalk all week at that one dream animal, your odds of breaking the bow hiking streak go up dramatically. Number 3, find ways to keep your morale up. This is kind of related to point 1 about keeping your head in the game, but it's really more about learning what helps you stay motivated and in good spirits in the field. Some hunts are an absolute grind, and it doesn't take too many days of, not seeing much and sleeping poorly and getting tired for your brain to try to convince you that it's time to pack it up and go home. But if you do that, the animals win, and your bow hiking status will remain intact. For me, there are few things a couple handfuls of Sour Patch Kids can't fix. Seriously, I have these or some similar candy in my food bags every single day, and I pack them planning on using them for, some quick energy before a big hike or a steep climb. But what usually happens is I start cracking into them by late afternoon when I've been staring through glass for hours on end, and I'm starting to get cranky. A quick hit of sugar, and suddenly all is right with the world. Now, you probably don't have the same candy addiction I do.
I don't know why, but today seems like it's gonna be a great day.
But maybe it's a cup of coffee on the mountain, or a quick power nap, or even giving yourself permission to sleep in one morning during a long, grueling hunt. Just learn what boosts your morale and gets your attitude back on track, and then unashamedly do that thing. It'll make a huge difference. Okay, number 4, and this will sound old school, but keep field notes while you're out there. You could do it in a note on your phone, but personally, I love the classic feel of taking a tiny, super light notebook out there with me. And here's the point. Every time you're on a hunt, there are lessons you're learning. Whether you've been hunting for 1 year or 70 years, there are still things to be learned. And the simple step of writing down what happened will help you really process and better internalize those lessons. So when you get back to camp, take a couple minutes and just write down what happened that day. Or even better, if you blow a stalk and you do the walk of shame back to your glassing point.
Oh, I'm so busted. Walk of shame.
Take a minute and jot down a few notes about what happened. Where was the animal? How did you approach? What did he do? What went wrong? Just a simple report of the event. And over time, as you read through the notes that you make, you'll relearn and reinforce the things that you're learning out there. Plus, on a personal level, it's just great to have some records of your adventures for the sentimental side. Finally, number 5, find a mentor or a teammate. And listen, I know this is easier said than done if you don't already have this person in your life, but I haven't found anything that shortens the learning curve quite like being around and teaming up with someone who knows more than you. If you're spot and stalk hunting, there's huge value in having someone back at the glass who can give you signals and help guide you in. You can also learn a ton by watching them stalk, or having them watch you blow a stalk and tell you what they saw go wrong. To speak from my own experience, I found a mentor when I was trying to figure out Arizona bear hunting, which is a very hard hunt if you aren't from around here. And I found this guy online who kind of had this reputation as the Arizona bear expert, and I realized he was local and offered to buy him coffee if he'd let me pick his brain for an hour. Well, we actually hit it off, we became good friends, and now we hunt together multiple times a year. And I have learned more about bear hunting, actually about hunting in general, more from him than I could ever possibly repay. In fact, he essentially handed me my first bear on a silver platter by giving up what was his shot at the very last minute. He glassed the bear, he planned the stalk, he got us into range. The odds of me figuring all that out and being in that spot at that moment all on my own?
More like 1 out of 1,000,000.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Again, I know this is hard to do if you don't already have some hunting mentors built into your life, and you might not end up making fast friends with a stranger that you'll end up spending time in the field with. I got lucky. But most hunters I've encountered are happy to at least answer a couple questions or provide some input if you reach out on social media or wherever. It's probably not great to come out cold asking to head into the field with them for a week.
I just want to hang out. No big deal.
But just start a conversation and see where it goes. So there you have it. If you've been stuck in bowhiker land for a while, try all 5 of these leading up and during your next hunt. I'm not saying you're guaranteed to tag out that time, but I bet you'll improve at least a little bit. Maybe you'll have a couple more opportunities, and ultimately you'll get closer to that goal that we're all chasing, which is success in the field.
But I'm not done yet.
All right, I promised you 5, but here's a 6th thing that I think can really help you out if you're trying to break out of the bowhiker club. This book, How to Hunt, a Total Beginner's Guide to Hunting Big Game. Listen, I wrote this book specifically with the newbie hunter in mind. And even if you've been out there a few times, there are still tons of information in here that will help you out. It's also loaded with hunting stories that keep it entertaining, and I'm sure if you pick up a copy, you'll learn something no matter where you are in your hunting journey. If you want to learn more, check out the link right over there. Alright, guys, thanks so much for watching, and if you do me a favor and subscribe right down here, I'd really appreciate it. If part of your bow hiking woes are that you just can't seem to get your bow totally dialed, I have a really simple trick you can try right here that should help you out. And if you want the whole story on that first bear I mentioned just a couple minutes ago, that film is right over there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.